Hey there, toy people. I'm here with Carolina Acosta, the founder and CEO of Tragos Games, the party games that celebrate Latin culture. Carolina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to here. Really excited. We actually just bought this game. Christian and I just bought Get Loud. So excited to talk about that. Excited to dive into Tragos. But I want to know how all of this began. Well, how did this start?
Oh man. Okay, so we had to rewind to 2019, and it kind of starts with my own experience with my own culture. I grew up in the US, and my parents are both immigrants, so I'm first generation. I'm half Colombian, half Dominican, but I never really kind of identified as Latina my whole life, just
Really?
because, I was always called La Gringa, the family, which means like the little white one. And I think it was kind of, part of assimilation, going to school and having to learn Spanish, English at an early age, and then kind of forgetting, your culture when you're surrounded by all these other cultures, especially in New York. And so as an adult, I went to South America for the first time. I actually loved it so much, I ended up living there for a few months.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the first time I could connect with my culture, with the people, the food, like everything, the language. And I came back just like pretty much transformed, like, okay, I feel like I can identify as this because I can relate a lot more than I thought I could.
Right.
And coming back to the US, I felt like something was missing in my life. I didn't have that culture surrounding me like I did living in South America. And so a friend called me one day, I remember like it was yesterday, and he's like, what do you think of creating like a party game and like making it cultural? And he was talking about his culture. He's Asian American, and we really bonded over being just like ethnic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that. I'm gonna do it for me. And he's like, okay, I meant for me, but okay, we'll do it together. So we both launched our games at the same time. I came out with Tragos. So it is a drinking game, but we recommend, playing it with any beverage. They play it with coffee. People sometimes play, with wine, like depending on your age, of course. And all the cards are just, irrelevant to things that people understand, either growing up Latino or if you have Latino friends. There's a lot of overlap of other ethnic cultures, and it's just like a fun time and something that we knew that wasn't really out there.
First of all, what does Tragos mean?
Tragos translates to drinks or cocktails in Spanish.
Perfect.
Yes.
And like,
I'm going very literal.
so what is so special about the cards in this game? Like, give me some examples.
Okay, so there's different cards that they all tell you what to do.
Yeah.
It's very self-explanatory. You pick up a card on your turn, and every card has instructions.
Okay.
So this card, for example, is a trivia card. And this is where you ask everyone a question. Where do most Latinos put their pots and pans? The winner picks a player to take a sip.
Ooh.
Do you know this?
Well, my husband's Colombian, so I'm gonna say in the oven.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. So ridiculous.
I know nothing else. I'm like, why wouldn't you put your pots and pans in the oven? Every card has something like that. It's like we all can relate to it, so it's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
And we try to fill up the cards with references that all Latinos would understand or all Spanish speakers might understand.
Yeah.
So another one's, if you grew up listening to Selena, cheers to your favorite song. Take 3
Is
steps.
that how you're supposed to pronounce that? Okay.
You say Selena too. Selena,
Okay.
yeah. I guess that's in Spanish, but yeah.
Yeah, como la flor, I guess would read everybody says
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, so you have, this is the original Tragos, and then, it's in Spanish,
Yes,
the booster pack.
that we had 2 booster packs. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
what's just extra cards? Because you
Extra
played
cards?
so much.
Yes.
You've done the cards 3 times.
Mhm.
Is that the complaint you got from people? They're like, I love this game, but I need more, and then you...
Honestly, no. People love playing this because every time they play, they're usually playing with a different crowd, different relatives, different
Okay.
friends.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we play all the time. I'm like, we don't get bored.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But, people always want something new. So we didn't want to, just ride on one product. And I think maybe I got bored.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
And
I
then
was
you
like,
came out with a booster pack.
yes, yeah.
Okay. And then what is this one? Spicy?
That one's the adult one.
Oh.
So Tragos is more for, I'd say, young adults to older adults. So Spicy was actually one that was requested by our consumer base. We did a survey and everybody wanted this one. We're like, okay.
It's spicy. Is
Yeah.
it Spanglish?
All the games are in Spanglish except for the one entirely in Spanish
Uh-huh.
because most of our audience is in the U.S.
Okay.
So
So Tell me about how your consumers actually asked for this.
So this was a fun way to find out. We wanted to do a survey. So we have a big email base and a big social media following. And so we wanted to create a fun survey, and we turned it into like a BuzzFeed type quiz. So we said, what kind of party person are you? And so we created 4 different personalities. We're like, are you like the cute fun one? Are you the party animal?
Yeah.
Are you the this or that? And we kind of threw it in like, what kind of game would you want to see next?
Oh, like it was like part of the quiz?
Part of the quiz, yeah.
So smart.
It was so fun.
That is some clever marketing.
It
Wow.
was, yeah. And, we also got to find out, who do you play with? What do you like most of our games? Do you like that you can play with your family? Do you like whatever? We had different questions. And one of them was, which game would you like to see next? And we had 4 options. This was
Right.
one of them, like a naughty pack. And
Yeah.
that one won by a landslide.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was over 1,000 ansers. Like,
How naughty is
submitted.
this naughty pack? Like, would you play it with your parents?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. We're going to keep that one over here. I want to talk a little bit about the growth of Tragos. How did you get so popular?
Yeah, okay, so I'd say we came at the perfect time. It was a culmination of many things happening. It was a cultural kind of happening that was going on in social media. I think with millennials and Gen Z now, they're becoming more comfortable with multiple identities and kind of speaking out to basically that.
Like having multiple cultures, like being...
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think, when growing up, we would have to assimilate and feel like we were part of the American culture because that's what our parents were trying to do as immigrants. And I think
Right.
now with social media and kind of expanding, even with new gender identities, people feel comfortable saying, yes, I am American, I am Texan, I am Mexican, and that goes for, the whole country.
Yeah.
So I think my story resonated with so many people on social media right away. That was one thing. Another thing is we all do like party games. I think that's been a rising industry, just games, board games in general. And also social media just made it so easy to reach the masses and find our audience very easily, like the US Latinos that we were targeting.
When you were marketing your game, were you sharing your story? And how were you sharing your story?
I was actually very shy about my story
Yeah.
at first. I think the reason why it resonated with people so much was more the content in the cards.
Oh, okay.
Like they were cards that say, if you're Latino but don't speak Spanish, take a sip. And it's not like to feel bad about it. The whole point was you're embracing all parts of the culture.
Right.
And so I think people resonated with a lot of things that I felt were coming personally from me,
Right.
as opposed to the story, which came on later with
Yeah.
PR and,
Yeah.
more opportunities like that. So I'd say our branding was really big. The first ads we ever did were Photoshop mocks that I made on just like using a little template. I didn't even have the game yet. I just had a Photoshop file that looked like a game. And I wrote out the ideas of the cards that we first had, but I only had maybe 10 cards to start with.
Wow.
And when we had a pre-order and showed, that people were interested, then we bought our inventory,
Wow.
which is why I was able to self-fund it and we didn't need any, funding before.
So you didn't do an official Kickstarter. You did your own kind of a pre-order. You managed the pre-orders.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, all we did was post on Shopify. Only expense we had were Facebook ads on a credit card.
Yeah.
I was fingers crossed, I was praying. I was like, oh God, I did not tell my parents about this. I would have freaked out. I was doing freelance graphic design at the time too, so I didn't even have a steady job. I was just like, okay, God, let's see if this works. And
Did you test this with your friend? There must have been something that gave you confidence that it was gonna work.
yeah, I think so. It was definitely a product we put a lot of love into because it wasn't just me coming up with the cards. I had a spreadsheet. I sent it to my cousin, my
Oh,
family,
okay.
anyone who I knew was Hispanic. I was
Really?
like, do you relate to this? Do you relate to this? Does your mom do this? Or is it just me? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh my God, yes, that's so funny. And again, it was just the content that we really loved. And the best part was I have so many friends from different backgrounds
Yeah.
that, I knew all the Colombians would understand, all the Ecuadorians, all the Mexicans. And
Yeah.
so that's what I loved. It was so diverse. And I guess that's where I got the confidence.
Okay. And then this game, what inspired Get Loud?
I think my age. We launched
What is it?
last year. The tagline is La Madre of all word games. That
Okay.
translates just to like the mother.
of all word
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we were playing Tragos for so long. Sometimes we would get hangovers. No, not gonna lie. And also, you know, a lot of people we would meet in our community. Latino population is huge, you know,
Yeah.
and we felt like we were kind of not really representing the people who don't drink or, you know, and also kids, which they're a huge part of all of our families. And you know, my little cousins, my niece, they'd be like, can we play? We're like, no. So this is definitely for the kids. So Get Loud.
What do you play?
It's a bilingual guessing game. So if you've ever played Heads Up or even charades, it works like that. So you have a timer, 1 minute, and you have cards with words on them, and all the words come in English and Spanish.
Right. What's on the back and the front? I just realized it's like.
So blue and green are harder words.
Okay.
Orange and red are easier for the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can play multiple ways, but I usually play it like taboo. So when I flip the timer, then I just describe it and you have to guess the word correctly.
Oh, okay.
So this is what I use to wash in the shower or to wash my hands.
So?
Yeah. So you
Okay,
so
cool.
that would be a point for you. But
Nice.
then you could also play like, all right, you're practicing your Spanish. How would
Yeah,
you
I
say
am.
it in Spanish?
I don't, but I just saw it, so now I
Oh.
know. This is jabón, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
So then there
Oh,
there
it
you
said
would get
sopa.
the,
That's
that's soup. You're working on it. You're working on it.
I know other words. Try me again.
Okay.
So it could just be flashcards.
It could be flashcards,
Right.
and that's what a lot of people have been using them for, just to kind of practice their Spanish or English at home, especially in bilingual households.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So how would you say to think?
I'm thinking pensar.
Yes. That's
Yes,
a point.
thank you.
You're doing good. Okay. How would you say almond?
No idea. Never used that word. Almando. No. I had no idea. Almond? No. I saw some of these words don't have a
Yeah.
translation, so I was hoping it was one of those.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are the same word, like Chihuahua is the same.
Okay. How do you say
Um,
almond?
Almendra.
Almendra. I was close.
You were close. You said almendro or something. You made up a new name.
I did. Almendra.
Okay, you know this one.
What?
How do you say cheers? Cheers.
Salute.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you use this as a game or as flashcards.
Yes.
I'm glad we bought this one.
Yeah, you'll
need
do,
this.
you'll do good.
So
yeah.
what are you going to come up with next to teach me conjugations?
I
that-
literally was thinking of that
Were you
yesterday.
really?
Yes. I've met a lot of kids that are learning Spanish in school,
Yeah.
and they're from all backgrounds. And
Yeah.
they're like, can I play this and make sentences? I'm like, that would be hard.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a big space, you know, for like language learning games.
Yeah.
So I might dabble in that.
Think
you know.
about that.
We'll see. Yeah.
I would use that. I listen to like a Spotify playlist where they tell you all the conjugations, but I literally am just listening to a person reciting every word in every tense.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
you
fun.
need something more interactive. Yeah.
It's going to connect it to a core feeling or a core memory that'll help me remember it better. Yeah.
Ooh. I have some ideas, but
Yeah.
they're
We
still
can't
under
share
wraps.
them yet.
Still under wraps.
It's
Yeah.
secret. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to wrap up. I want to ask you some closing questions. But before I do, for anybody out there that has an idea for a game, because that's
Okay.
what you did,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them, taking into consideration that things are different from when you started? We were talking off
Absolutely.
camera before this about how Facebook ads have changed the game in both of our businesses.
Yeah.
She had to completely change how she did Facebook ads. It's changed my business as well. Now that you see the way the world is now, the way social media is now, what advice would you give for someone starting today?
I mean, today I would 100% recommend TikTok. It's
Yeah.
the new Google. It's, you know, where
Yeah.
everybody finds how to do anything, like tutorials, like gift ideas,
Yeah.
how to, you know, even starting a business. There's
Yeah.
all these channels that will be like a lawyer saying exactly what you should do. I've seen a lot of things blow up on TikTok. We kind of got in there a little slow. My team, like we're all like
In our 30s.
older millennials, yeah. And so we're like, okay, like how do we do this? You know, people are still trying to figure it out, but I think it's such an important resource to leverage right now more than anything. And then I'd say, like, as far as building it out, I mean, I learned how to create and manufacture a game just by Googling things. But there are all these resources that I've learned that I wish I had before. There's Women in Toys, and there's all these, you know, Facebook groups. I would say don't be scared to reach out to anybody that you know that might have an idea, because I think I try to do a lot by myself. And when I did bring on a team, it was very fast-paced, and I didn't really think through exactly what my business needed long-term. I always thought short-term, so it may seem a little, like, hard, but I think games are, like, one of the easiest things you can make. I think the hardest part is marketing. And finding the right market fit, making sure that, you know, your game isn't going to be in a saturated space where you might make a game specifically for 2 to 4 year olds, but the game industry might say, oh, we already have 2 to 4 year old games this year. Yeah, so really, like, consider that, and I guess also be passionate about, like, why this game? Like, what is it that's, you know, is it your kids that, like, absolutely love it? Because I've seen success stories like that. It's great.
It's like the passion and the why behind it. Like, you had a really clear reason behind this.
Yeah, and I think that's why we found such great market fit. But I know other people that they're like, I have this game, I've had it for years, but I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, then maybe it's not its time, or maybe you got to talk to more people. So
yeah, it sounds like you did a lot of really great research just in your content creation process. You ended up doing, like, market research for your product.
Right, because I think I had a very strong understanding of my specific audience. So we're very niche, and I think that's where we definitely excelled in.
Congratulations. When you were a kid, what toy blew your mind? Or game?
Oh my God. I was obsessed with Candyland. Obsessed.
Why?
I love the colors. I don't know. I thought the little, like, characters were so well designed. I mean, looking back, obviously, I wouldn't think as a 4-year-old, I'm like, oh, so well designed. But it worked so well. I drove my brother crazy. I'm like, let's play Candyland. He's like, oh. Again.
You remember when you were little, like, how you used to feel? Like,
100%.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Wait, what was yours? I'm curious.
Oh, I loved Polly Pockets. I was obsessed.
Oh, yeah.
I also liked things where I could, like, build a city, so I would set my Polly Pockets up in a neighborhood. And they had, like, little cars. I would ride them around their neighborhood. I was like, make it a whole day. I'd be like, so they go to school.
You had a whole set of everyone.
It was a neighborhood.
Did you have the carpet with the roads on it?
The carpet with the roads on it?
Oh, it was like a big rug where you used to drive
the kitchen table.
Okay.
So I would just, like, make rows of houses.
Like, Mom, don't touch my city.
Yeah, it was. I had to clean it up before dinner time. It was. So I'd start, like, really early.
Yeah.
I would spend, like, hours setting it up, and then, like, only, like, an hour playing. It's so silly.
That's determination.
Yeah, I really like building things.
I love that.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a pleasure. I'm excited to take this home and play with it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you guys to play.
Thank you.